I gotta say, some of you men out there, I'm a little disappointed in you. Oh, man. So any of you guys that have been following my channel know that I'm preparing to compete March 15th. It was supposed to be a big day for me. I had a real shot at breaking some national records and maybe solidifying a spot in the USB Hall of Fame. I don't know. Go down as one of the best over 50 lifters in history. Now, it's a big gap between me and the guys at the top of the list, but I'm in the top 20 all time. And you know, if I could have had a good competition and maybe got into that 1,700 pound total, that's a good case. That's a short list of people that I'm with, and that would have been really cool. But unfortunately, I hurt myself, so chances of me competing are looking really slim. It's funny, people always complain about the VA, and the VA has historically had its share of problems, don't get me wrong, but they've gotten a lot better. I went there and they got me right in to get an MRI, and I have an orthopedic consult tomorrow, and it took my wife months with civilian. I mean, I had good health insurance to the company I worked through, and it was just a runaround seeing all these different specialists. You got to go to your doctor, you got to get a referral, then you go to a specialist, and then you get a referral, and it's like, it was months before she was able to get an MRI, and then months before anybody would do surgery on her. It's like, normally speaking, surgery is the last option. So they want to, you don't want to just start cutting on yourself, and the surgery doesn't fix everything all the time. The recidivism rate for surgeries is pretty staggering. So if you can heal naturally and you can go through physical therapy, that's the better way to do it. However, sometimes you just gotta have surgery to fix certain things. Like if you pop a bicep, there's only one way to reattach it. You can't do physical therapy to fix that. That being said, it's a pretty routine surgery. You pull it down, reattach it, and you're looking at about 6 months before you can start training heavy again, that kind of thing. Like there's more to it than that. It's a routine injury that I have a lot of experience with because it's common in powerlifting and construction and in life, and I've managed cases like this at work. I'm so familiar with these that we had 2 in the last 6 months at work, and they were complete detachments where they had to go in and reattach the bicep, and they were looking at, like, it was 4 weeks in a cast, and around 14 weeks they could start training again lightly. Obviously physical therapy starts way before then, and you're looking at like 6 months before you can actually start loading it again, like, properly. And it's pretty routine surgery. I don't know, that doesn't bother me. What just bothers me is that I was having one of the best training cycles I've ever had in my entire life. I'm stronger now than I've ever been, even though I'm 50. And I was primed to really kill it. But that's the thing. A moment in time, everything can change. Now, where I said I was disappointed is I get some of these comments, and trolls love if they could find, it's like chickens when they get cut. If they can find a little blood, they'll just pick the chicken to death and then kill them. It's the same way on the internet, but it's not necessarily that I get people giving me crap saying, oh, you shouldn't do this, shouldn't do that. That's what you get for doing double overhand. It's like, obviously people that don't lift themselves, they don't lift heavy, they don't have a lot of experience with the sport of powerlifting. The supinated grip is where most of the bicep injuries happen. I would say 98% is from, as long as you keep your arms straight, that's not an issue. And I obviously didn't. I've been using that grip for 10 years, and I've never had any issues. And I didn't have any indicators of pain. I had nothing to suggest that, like, hey, like a lot of times when you blow a shoulder out or something, let's say, usually be a little sore. There's like a little pain leading up to that might indicate, hey, you better back off. And a lot of us, it's not a significant enough amount of pain, so we'll keep training anyways, just thinking we're being pussies. Next thing you know, you blow your shoulder out. So the takeaway from that is, if you are hurting, even if it's mild, you got to listen to that. And this had nothing, no indication of pain or anything. I didn't have tendonitis. It just caught me completely off guard. I do this little thing where I kind of jerk when I pull up, right? And guys are like, well, that's how it happened. It's not. Because I was already almost locked out before it popped. So my arms were already extended. That little jerk I do, that's the same thing as like when guys pop their butts up or they sink down and snap up, or like when Eddie Hall like rolls the weight into him and pops up. Like, it's a way to give yourself a little bit of a whoop, and that's just the method I've been using. And it's interesting to hear the opinions of people that just don't know what they're talking about, because if that's what caused it, it would have popped when I yanked up, not in the middle of the lift. After I've been holding it for, 2-3 seconds, I was already almost locked out, and that's when it popped. But no, I'm more disappointed in some of the comments of from some of these guys that are like, "Oh, your career's over. Oh, you ruined your arm for life. Oh, you'll never come back from it." And I'm like, wow, have you guys ever faced any adversity? Are you kidding me? I came back from losing the use of my leg where I had to learn how to walk again. I had a fracture in my L5, a broken back technically. I've had my knee completely blown out. And injuries are a setback for sure, but the only time it's over is when you're in a box. Now, I don't know, maybe I'll take this time to let my body heal and focus on new things. I do have other interests besides powerlifting, but to say that I'm done, it's like, come on, hell no. I'll have this. They have my consult tomorrow. If they do surgery, it'll be within the week. It might even be before the week's over, because they like to go fast on these. When you have bicep tears, the longer it goes, the more it can hike up, and the more damage that can be done, and the harder it is for them to go in there and pull it back down again. So usually with this specific injury, they want to get after it as quickly as possible. They got me right in. I was really impressed with the VA. I went to the emergency room, and even though the wait was forever, it would take 3 hours. Once I did see a doctor, it moved like bam, bam, bam. The orthopedic surgeon was calling me before I had my MRI done. It just based on what the doctor told them. They wanted to get me in there now. I was like, I don't know if I'm ready for surgery today, boys. It's like, maybe give me a day or two. It's all, man. I at work today, I was dealing with my buddy Eric, and I had to give him some paperwork. And even though I took time off, things come up, and I'm in a position where if I have to, even though I'm off, I'm on vacation, I have a job position where sometimes you just got to answer the phone because they need your expertise. If you're not available, it's a huge impact on everybody. And so even though I didn't have to answer the call, I did. And then, I've been driving around all day with this sling on, and I was just thinking, it's like, man, we just don't have time. We just, you're hurt, you still go to work. You still there's no such thing as I can't. You have to, other people that have had surgeries, there's no option. There's no option for us to not perform. We can't just no matter how grievous the injury is, it's like we got to suck it up and just get through it, and nobody's going to help us. We have to help. We that's our job. And I put on this stoic front where I don't show emotion, and I'm happy and it's all good. But I would be a liar if I didn't say that I'm thoroughly disappointed after all that work to be the last lift on the last training day. And you do that shoulda, woulda, coulda thing where it's like, man, if I would have just skipped that lift. But in under normal circumstances, why would you skip training? You know what I mean? There's no reason I would have. I was feeling perfectly fine going into it, and I needed to get that. I needed to make sure I could lift that, because that's what I'll be doing in competition. So I wouldn't have done anything differently. But hindsight always being 2020. It's like, yeah, don't do that to yourself. For all you guys that think life's over when you have major injuries, or you have to get surgery, or you got to do a bunch of physical therapy, or even if the outlook is a year, let's say it's going to take you a year to come back. It's not about getting back to where you were. The mindset I always take is, this is new. This is my new normal. This is where I'm starting from. And I forget about the past. I forget about whatever numbers I used to put up. I forget about whatever training I used to do. And I focus on, this is where I'm at now, and this is what I'm starting from. It'd be no different if I had someone that came to me and they wanted to be able to do squats, and they have no range of motion from back injuries, and they don't have any ankle mobility, and they can barely do a quarter squat. It's the same thing. We're going to start from where you can start from, and we're going to slowly work from there. And it's, you know what I mean? It's the same principles apply. I have the benefit of at least knowing what I need to do. And this would be a good opportunity. There's always a silver lining. I can let my body heal, and I can start focusing on some of the other things I want to do. I wanted to really dive into Muay Thai and see how good I could get. I'll never stop lifting. There's just no way, ever. But, you know, I can kind of relax things a little now. Because, you know, really all I have to do is, you know, want to keep appearances up. That's, I don't have to kill myself to have big looking legs or arms or whatever. It's like, you know, bodybuilding. So maybe I'll do some circuit training. I mean, you know, it's funny. I was already thinking, well, like, I can't use my arm, but I can squat. I'm going to take some time off, I think, like a week, and just, you know, one day at a time. I don't have a support system. You know, I don't have the ability to not do anything. I am not afforded the luxury to sit and wallow in self-pity and misery. You know, as much as I would love to, nobody's going to help me. I have to do it myself. And I got people that are depending on me, so there's no option to just, like, not, you know, go to work or whatever the case is, whatever it is, like, just sitting around and doing nothing, and that's just not an option, so it's not going to happen. Yeah. We're men. That's what we do. Suck it up. Yo, it ain't about life hitting you, how hard you hit. It's about how hard you can get hit and just get up and keep going. I do want to thank you guys online. You guys have been so supportive. The outpouring of the people that care, it's been really heartwarming. And you know, some of it is sageless, priceless advice. Like, you should have done this, should have done that. I'm like, yeah, okay, whatever. A lot of that is like, you take what's useful, leave the rest behind. A lot of people don't really know what they're talking about, but everybody's got an opinion. But for the people that really have, you know, that are pulling for me, I appreciate it. I wish I was set up to have a little bit of a better support system in real life, you know. Even like with work, I can't really, like, I'm in a position where, for example, Monday, there's a kind of an OSHA thing going on one of the job sites, and there's literally no one else available to do it. There's nobody there that can do it. It's an opportunity. I'm going to bring some of the people I work with there so that they can do it with me, so that if something does happen to me, the next one that comes up, somebody will at least be able to accommodate what they need, and we won't have issues with regulatory. But things of that nature, it's like, you know, with my wife being injured, I've been the one running around, you know, doing all the driving and everything, and like, I don't have anyone to drive for me. Suck it up. It's a bummer, but it is what it is. I don't know what I'm trying to express, but I don't have the choice to stop. I got to keep going no matter what. It doesn't matter if I'm not going to get the support. You know, live with it or die from it. You know, just don't have the option. You just got to keep going. And I'm going to try to do it with a smile on my face, with a little bit of enthusiasm, even though, like, I've been having moments where in between, when I really start to think about it, it's super easy to get drawn in by that self-pity and that depression, and that just, like, you know, think about everything I put into this, and for it to end like this. But I'm trying to look at it differently. It's like, okay, every ending's a new beginning. Like, what can we take from this moving forward? You know, I've been wanting to specialize a little bit more in physical therapy. That is a passion of mine, and I like taking things that are broken and mending them. I like helping people that are injured get going again, and this is a perfect opportunity for me to put my money where my mouth is, because now I'm the one that has to take care of myself. And you guys get to do it with me, you know. This happened twice before. Once with my shoulder when I blew it out, and it took me a few months to get back from that. This happened when I lost the use of my leg, and I couldn't walk for that short period of time, and I had to start completely over with squats. And every single time I had the same detractors saying, you'll never come back, you're done. And not only did I come back, but I was able to bust all my previous PRs at a lower body weight. My squats got way better. And I think the reason why they got better is because I was forced to do it right to begin with. Up to a certain point, I had been a little sloppy in my form, and I got injured, and then it forced me to correct things. And then that's when I really started to learn about the human body and anatomy and things of that nature. And I've known the risks about supinated grip for a long time. I've known that that's how biceps pop, and I never thought I had an issue because I was always pretty certain my arms were locked out. And you just can't curl 600 pounds. I didn't think my arm was bent to begin with, but looking at the video, it's like, I don't know, man. Things happen. Tomorrow's guaranteed to no one. That's all I can say. And you can go hide in a hole if you want. I mean, if your attitude is that your life is ruined if you got an injury, don't put your shit on me. I'm a get it done kind of guy, and it might take a little time. And I'm a patient person. I'll do things the right way. And if it takes months, it takes months. If it takes years, it takes years. But no, we're not done yet. Are you kidding me? Like I said, this is a routine surgery that I deal with all the time with other people. And now it's my turn. And the cool thing about it is I already know I know everything that's involved in it. I know what to expect. I know what the physical therapy movements are. I know like the timelines that are, how they're supposed to, before you can start, doing certain things. Like, what do they say? It's like 4 weeks is when you can start moving your arm, getting the full range of motion and articulating it. 6 weeks, you can start doing light training. 14 weeks is when it's healed and you're ready to start putting a little load on it. 6 months is when you can start training fully again. And then a year, you should be free and clear and hitting PRs again well before that. But, all of us heal at individual rates. We all have different protocols. We all have different mentalities. We all have different mindsets. We all have different genetics. So some people it takes longer than others. If anything, I'm the kind of guy that's like, I got to make sure and hold myself back. There's no rush. If I'm not going to compete on the 15th, then there's no point in me trying to gear up to rush anything. There's another competition at the end of the year, usually in September. And I don't need the bicep to do any of those lifts. So it'll be interesting to see. Initially, I'm going to lose a lot of strength because I'm not going to be able to do certain movements. But this is where it gets interesting, because this is where you get to find the creative workarounds. For example, if I can't deadlift, I can go to EOS and use the belt squat. And there's a couple of machines that approximate the mechanical movement. And there's between squatting and using machines, I shouldn't lose any posterior chain strength. And it's going to be, getting your grip strength back. As far as bench press, I don't know how this is going to affect the eccentric of that lift. It didn't feel like it does, but maybe I won't be able to bench press for a few months. But, all that comes back. It came back once before. I don't see why it won't come back again. The biggest obstacle is my age. Unfortunately, no spring chicken. But, I don't know. I like a challenge. We'll see what happens. And maybe I'll give up powerlifting and maybe I'll go into a different sport. Yeah, we'll see. I don't know. I'm never going to quit lifting. Man, I'm never going to quit trying to improve. We'll see what it brings us. I love you guys. See you in the battlefield.